You know that feeling when you start writing a song and everything just clicks, the chords start rolling, the words pour out, and the melody seems to sing itself? Well, if you've just answered no, you might be doing better than you think. As songwriters, that kind of flow state is what we live for, to get into the zone and write a killer tune fast. But here's the thing, getting into that zone is actually a double-edged sword. Think of it like this. You decide to take a road trip. You hit the open road, you're cruising along, sitting back and taking it all in. But if that open road just keeps going and the scenery doesn't change, eventually it's going to get monotonous and you're going to zone out. And that's where things can start to go sideways. Sure, it's amazing to get into that creative flow, but you have to be careful that you don't go on autopilot because you're going to fall asleep behind the wheel and crash. And this is an easy trap to fall into when we're writing a song. We get into that zone and we get locked into a pattern or rhythm, and if we're not careful, we can end up staying there for the whole song. Now that's a great way to get a song started, but it's an awful way to get a good song finished. And just like every journey needs its emotional ups and downs, every song needs its emotional dynamics. And it's up to you, the songwriter, to know how to create them. So in this video, I want to share a simple way that you can keep yourself and the listener awake at the wheel throughout the journey and end up writing better songs. Now, before you can create these emotional dynamics, you have to understand what creates these emotional dynamics. Have a look at this example and just notice how it feels.
I'm going under and I fear this time there's no one to save me.
In Someone You Love by Lewis Capaldi, the verses use two long lyric melody lines. But did you notice how those long lines make the lyric feel? Those longer lines give the lyric a reflective vibe, a sense of lingering on a thought or a feeling. There's also space in between those phrases, and that space is giving us, the listener, extra time to take all that information in. So the first thing you need to understand to make things more interesting is how the length of your lyric melody lines affects the energy and the feel of a given song section. Now compare that first section to the pre-chorus.
I need somebody to heal, somebody to know.
The pre-chorus uses shorter lines in comparison, and you can feel those shorter lines build up the energy and the pace. We're not getting the time or the space to linger. Things are happening quicker. So the second thing to understand is changing the length of your lyric melody lines between song sections is a way for us songwriters to control the energy of the song we're writing. Short phrases are like watching the scenery pass us by as we travel, while the longer phrases are like stopping to take a photograph of more interesting scenery. Now, understanding what creates emotional dynamics in your song is all very well and good, but it's useless unless you can put it to work to support the main idea of your lyric. And this won't just create the ups and downs, it'll make sure you can express the intended emotion of your lyric and create a cohesive emotional journey that can deliver on the core message of your song. But how do you decide which scenery passes you by and which scenery you should take a photograph of? In other words, how do you know if and when you should be using long lines or short lines when you're writing a song? Look, I won't lie to you, making these kind of decisions can slow the songwriting process right down, and no one wants to be stuck staring at a blank page just wishing there was an easier way to get the lyrics out without wasting hours. So what I've done is put a free cheat sheet together for you that shows you how to whip up all the raw material you'll need in 5 minutes flat, how to nail your song's core idea and turn it into a chorus, and it shows you a genius tool for creating vivid details to flesh out your song sections that's used by everyone from Bob Dylan to Taylor Swift. It's totally free, so grab your copy, the link's in the description. Okay, end of shameless plug and back to the video. So how do we know if and when we should be using long lines or short lines? Well, have a look at this example and see if you can tell which scenery is passing us by and which scenery we get to take a photograph of.
We were good, we were gold, kind of dream that can't be sold.
In Flowers by Miley Cyrus, the verse starts with two short lines. So this song is about her, it's about Miley's own self-empowerment, so there's no need to dwell too long on the failed relationship. The short lines speed through the context needed to understand the more important information. That scenery quickly passes us by, not so fast that we can't take it in, but it's those longer lines that we linger on that do give us the time to take a photo. The length of the first line of your lyric / melody sets the pace, and if all the other lines in the verse are the same length, that pace stays steady. Now, rhythm plays its part in this too, but I want to stay focused on line length for now. So that steady pace is great if the emotion you're trying to express is stable, steady, or balanced. But what's that actually mean? Steady, stable, or balanced? Can you talk about negative emotions in a stable, steady, or balanced way? Look at the first example again. With the use of 2 lines that are the same length, that as a structure is letting us know that what he is saying is a matter of fact. So it's steady in the sense that there's no uncertainty about how he feels. Now compare that to Flowers. She's using an odd number of lines, with the last one slowing down the pace. The speed doesn't stay steady. And that structure is letting us know that the good, the gold that couldn't be sold is not as steady as the words might have us believe. And that's confirmed with the last line of the verse. So deciding on what phrase lengths to use comes down to the emotion you want to get across and how you decide you should talk about it. And when you've made that decision, you can start using contrasting line lengths either between the song sections or within the song sections to control the flow and the energy. You can speed things up, you can slow them down, you can create contrast, and that can be used to emphasize important ideas in your lyrics. Longer phrases give the lyric time to be absorbed. They slow down the energy and the pace of a lyric, especially if they happen after shorter lines. So use longer lines to get important information across, the main ideas that point towards the core message of your song. On the other hand, shorter lines tend to build the energy and the tension, especially when they come after longer lines. So you can use them to speed up the energy and the pace of a lyric, and use them to set up the important ideas that live in those longer lines. Contrast and phrase lengths is a powerful tool for songwriters to enhance the emotion behind their lyrics. But a song is more than just a collection of words or phrases. You need some kind of story arc based off a core idea. And when you know what that is, you'll have a solid foundation to be able to start making those kinds of decisions. And if you watch this video next, I'm going to show you a really easy way for developing a core idea. It'll stop you losing sight from what you're actually trying to say and how you should be saying it as you're writing a lyric.